SME series. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. I would like to extend our gratitude for your support, and this is the reason why we are back after last week's session. I will be your host tonight, Rosita Shuib, and tonight's session is will be a very good session because we have three young entrepreneurs with us. They are our new generation. First and foremost, I would like to introduce Sam Thorn. He is the of Beyond Infinity Consultancy. Now, Sam was actually selected amongst 1,000 entrepreneurs to visit Alibaba ecosystem. And he has also successfully transformed his family's business to an e-commerce marketplace. Welcome, Sam.
Hi, thank you for inviting Rosita.
Now we have with us an iconic dynamic duo, Shah Anuar, and also Vivy Yusof. I'm sure everybody knows Fashion Ballet, so we are extremely happy to have both of you here today. Now, if you are a Fashion Ballet follower or Vivy Yusof follower, you are aware that both Vivy and Faza has also won many achievement awards, and congratulations from our team. I'm very sure these awards are given based on your achievement as an entrepreneur that has brought e-commerce to a different level. But first and foremost, let's hear what Sam has to say about what triggered him to convert the family business to go online. Sam?
Okay. Hi everybody. Thank you very much at SME for inviting for this. Well, many years ago, we can count back maybe about almost 9 years ago. The family business is a brick and mortar business, and that's exactly where offline businesses are. At that point, we were facing a very tragic location basis, whereby a lot of people were thinking how to drive traffic to an offline store. Some stores are actually having higher overheads, and some stores may not have that kind of overheads. So we understand that those were the struggles of retail. So we decided and asked ourselves, what would be the one way to actually break all of this, that we don't need to have a retail store, but can get traffic from everywhere throughout Malaysia. So online was the first answer that we get. And obviously, many years ago, we started out in, Lawyat Forum, Lelong, Muda. I'm sure our audiences tonight have heard some of these terms, I hope. Right, we started out from there, and slowly we moved on when e-commerce marketplaces such as Lazada, Shopee, eBay came along as well. So that was our beginning journey in terms of moving an offline to online.
Okay, so maybe we want to hear, what inspired Vivy and also Faza to start this online business.
Okay, so yeah, thank you so much to SME for having us today. To be honest, Vivy and I actually don't do many interviews together, so sometimes we stumble on each other, like you go or I go.
Yeah, I thought it's a good idea to have both of you here tonight.
Yeah, I guess you, and also you catch us at home, right?
Yes.
So this will be like husband and wife zone as well. So first of all, thank you guys so much for having us. So the story of how Vivy and I started Fashion Valley actually dates back like 10 years ago now, when we graduated from university. And when we were in university, we realized that e-commerce was such a big thing there. And we were shopping for our clothes, we were shopping for our groceries online. And then when we came back to Malaysia, we realized that there was a gap in the market. And so we realized this, we thought that it's an opportunity for both of us to start something, because we really wanted to do something for ourselves. And so when we saw this opportunity, at the same time, Vivy was also already a blogger by then. So she already
Okay.
had an following. And we also knew a lot of local designers around Malaysia who had like brick and mortar stores, and we were big fans of them. And we thought we should give them a platform to shout out more about their businesses. So
Okay.
that so that
Continue.
so that's how Fashion Valley started. We started 10 years ago as an aggregator of local fashion brands. And today, I think the business has grown. We've also built some of our own brands, such as Duck and Lilith. And I mean, we've, tried to expand into modest fashion. And our goal is really to try and build a very proud Malaysian business or Malaysian brand globally.
Okay, talking about brand, Vivi, what is this, is there any inspiration behind the brand Duck?
Well, we started Fashion Valley first as just a platform to curate local brands. But we then found after 2-3 years that we were getting a lot more demand than we had of supply. So it forced us to create our own house brands. And that's how Duck started lah. So then we saw a gap in the scarves market, specifically premium scarves, because at that
Okay.
time, 2014, scarves were abundant in the market, but it was a lot of the pricing is 49, 59. So we decided there actually isn't any premium brand for a hijabi, and being an ambitious urban woman, like that's what I want to be associated to. So that kind of led me to create Duck.
Is there a story behind the brand name Duck? Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm sure there is.
Yeah, no, but I wish there was a really smart, intelligent story, like D is for determination, U is for unity.
Okay.
No, but that is it's literally me and a group of friends in high school. We were very close, and we called each other Ducks. Very silly lah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so it's a that as well.
Well, it's paying off, right? I'm sure, like Sam, I mean, you have also, given a few talks to, entrepreneurs and whatnot. I'm sure you have also come across situations whereby they are, going into e-commerce or whatever. So do you think, I mean, in your opinion, do you think branding is important to accelerate the business?
Yes. Right. To answer to your question, in terms of branding, in e-commerce, such as people setting up stores in platforms, say like Lazada, Shopee, they also put up their store name. And the way they brand themselves is they're consistently giving good services or either good products. In e-commerce, I think a lot of people, when they purchase something, the moment they purchase something that's not good, immediately they'll put up on Facebook, Instagram. Our netizens are really, really fast nowadays. However,
Okay.
when you come to something very good, you receive good reviews from your products. People will praise your store. People will praise your name, and people will praise like, "Wow, this is really good seller, very responsible. Next time anything, please buy from them." And from this, it sparks off to even people sharing through WhatsApp. So I believe that in terms of branding, it is important to do what it is important to your customers. And when you do it well, your customers will then continuously buy from you.
I guess for Fashion Ballet, I mean, that is the branding that you guys have established, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, in my opinion, I think Duck is equally strong as well, because I have seen billboards that you were promoting Duck. I mean, like cosmetics and whatnot. So how do you differentiate the marketing aspect between Fashion Ballet and also Duck? How do you guys come up with a strategy that people know it is associated and not like two different brands?
So I think our intention was never to interrelate Fashion Valley and Duck.
We actually don't want them to associate.
Okay, all
Well,
right.
Fashion Ballet has a very clear brand where it's all about promoting modest fashion brands, and especially with our local designers. And so we want people to discover Fashion Valley as an e-commerce platform which is trusted. When you go on the platform, you know that these are curated brands, so there's a certain level of quality to it that you can expect when you buy from Fashion Valley. Whereas for Duck, I think our intention for Duck, like Vivi mentioned, was to really build a premium brand that represents the
Uh,
style of a successful urban Muslim woman. And so there is two very different types of brands, but of course, in both of them, you have Vivi, which is a very strong figure in itself, and I think that's where the
Complication,
connection, the connect. Vivi's not a
complication.
competition. I would say she's the connection between the two.
No, but
the
personally,
face behind the brand.
using because I'm the face of Fashion Ballet. That's the first baby that we created, right? So people associate me very strongly with Fashion Ballet. But then when we started Duck as well, people associate me with Duck as well. So I'm
Okay.
in between, and it's funny because if they have a complaint like about Duck, they complain to FV. If they complain about FV, they complain to Duck. So trying to make them two very strong, independent from each other is actually a constant struggle for us.
Okay. You guys have won $1 million from the reality television show Make the Pitch, right? Now, at what stage of the business was it when you won that
It was a
investment?
until I watched the video on YouTube. We were very nervous, like pitching. 2000,
2012, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
8
So
years ago.
at what stage was the business? Was Fashion Ballet already
So
existed?
yeah.
Or
So so
was
so we started the business in 2010. The business actually gained a lot of momentum in the first 2 years. And I mean, if you watch the video, we also mentioned that in our first full year we did more than 700,000 ringgit in sales, and it
okay.
was in that year that players like Zalora and Lazada started coming into the market. And that's where we realized that, okay, you know what, we're actually sitting on a gold mine, and so let's raise some money so that we can be more competitive and we can be more aggressive in growing the business. So back then, Vivi and I, we graduated. We knew nothing about business. Vivi graduated in law. I graduated in engineering, and so
Okay.
yeah, and so we decided that we wanted to raise some money. And my brother told me about this competition, and he said that, I'm sure if you joined it, your business has a really good chance of winning. So we thought, yeah, why not? It's a really good opportunity for us to try.
Oh, okay. So, did the winnings help in putting additional funding or whatsoever in terms of
Yeah.
making the business grow? That does it help?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at that stage we were still relatively small, and then once we got the funding in, I think we accelerated the marketing a lot, and we spent a lot of
Okay.
money trying to educate customers to shop online. I mean, if you remember in 2010, 2012, people were not shopping online. It was very alien. You still had a lot of businesses who they would showcase the product online, but you had to go to the ATM to bank in your money,
Scan
to
your
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
your receipt, and
email
then email
it.
it to the business, right? So it was
So the
still very
ANP helps. The ANP helps, right? The
yeah, yeah,
marketing aspect.
definitely. Yeah.
Sam, I mean, how do you see, there are a lot of businesses that, are online or whatsoever. I mean, where do you see like some of these businesses that may be doing, the wrong thing or whatsoever? I mean, I'm I'm aware, like, even like bake cookies or the daily lunch or whatever. Everybody is on Instagram and stuff. So where do you see the areas that some of these businesses are not doing it right?
There are many businesses when they first start out. I think everyone says that e-commerce is easy. And I stand today to say that anyone who has really gone through it knows that e-commerce is similar to a business. You have to go through the hard work, the grind, the mistakes. Today, maybe I can share with you two of the most common mistakes that any new businesses start off in e-commerce, whether regardless you're on Facebook, website, or either even e-commerce marketplace platforms. Number one, I think is relatable towards your product. So either you are giving a service or either a product, your title. When people cannot search your product, they can't find you. You cannot make sales.
Okay.
So people lose out on that part.
Okay.
And many businesses, they always try to identify what is the right keyword in terms of online when they want to search for something. So say, for example, if you want to search for, say, a mouse, all right? Obviously, in your key title, you will put a mouse. You won't put like a rat. So by putting a different keyword, a wrong keyword, people cannot find you online. That's how online works. So those are the usually first mistakes. The second common thing that I usually see is that people actually created their own website or either even in e-marketplace, their web store. They do not think about how a customer walk into the store. So imagine this, if you are to walk into an offline retail store, let's just say we walk into Tesco today, okay? Let's say, for example, today you walk into Tesco. Everything is everywhere. It's very messy. You don't know where to find your clothes. You don't know where to find your grocery. You don't know where to find your ice cream. You just don't know where the categories are. So in online, similarly, whether you are creating your own web page or your web store, have that sort of navigation to help customer to find your product easily. So these are the two common mistakes that I usually see when people start out in their e-commerce journey.
Faza and Vivy, did you go through that phase of learning from the mistakes that you guys hopefully not do, but have you encountered such situations whilst building?
Yeah, the mistake first. I think yes, of course, you learn from others' mistakes. But it's very different when you go through it yourself. It's very easy to pick on and learn from there. But honestly, if you don't go through it yourself, you really won't know what to improve. So our customers have been like the backbone telling us like what they want, because when we first started the website, it was horrible. Like you have to see our first ever website, you feel so ashamed. But that's a Malaysian brand. So our customers slowly helped us. Like, I want this filter, I want this button, the photos have to be like this, So listening and learning always. And until today we make mistakes. So it's a constant, learning process.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, you just have to be conscious and also, I guess, taking feedbacks for you to improve whatever infrastructure, product line, and be more attentive to customers' feedback. Now, is that the reason why you guys have started, a boutique? 2 years ago, right? Is that the reason? Is that you can serve your customers better?
I think we've had a lot of requests from our customers over the years to have a physical store, right? Because they really like the products that we curate on our website. And I think for a long time we really resisted having offline stores because we really believed that when you shop online, you have such a huge variety. It's very, very difficult to be able to rent out a space offline and be able to replicate that experience offline. But then because we were getting so many requests for it, we decided to try it out with a pop-up store. And when we did that, we realized that actually the response was quite overwhelming because the brands that we had on our website were not easily accessible even inside malls. And so we realized that we were actually bringing different types of products into the shopping malls. And so that's why we realized it made sense. But I mean, there was still a lot of challenges, making trying to replicate that experience offline, because we had almost like 10,000 items online, and you can't be possibly
Yeah.
hang up 10,000 worth of item, right?
I mean, also to add on that, like our competitors like Zalora, that they don't really have to open an offline store because they carry very reputable brands, very famous brands like Topshop, Mango, Adidas, Nike. You know the products, you know your size, so you can buy
Okay.
online. For us, like we were carrying local brands, and we needed to introduce these local brands to people and get people's trust, right? So that's why we started the offline store.
Yeah, and it was also because of branding as well, because I mean, Fashion Valley or even Duck being local brands, it was when and they were premium brands as well. So we knew that when we want to open these offline stores, they had to be in premium locations. So I mean, when we first opened in Bangsa Village, we thought that was a great location. We next opened in Pavilion, and that was our dream.
Yeah.
We opened Duck in KLCC. That was our goal from the start.
Okay.
Having our stores in these premium malls, next to other luxury and international brands, really set us apart from other local brands.
Yeah.
And I feel that's where the brand names that we built started really getting more and more attention.
It's quite an achievement, to be in malls like Pavilion, because they're very particular about the brands they carry. So congratulations. Yeah, I know.
It was a struggle.
I know, and it's also not how do I say, not normal that from online going to offline, because most cases is offline going online. So here, I mean, you guys are quite courageous, to do that, and I'm sure it's also because of the strategy that you have. And at the end of the day, it's all about the direction that you want to bring the brand to, and all the challenges and all the feedbacks and whatsoever is put into making sure that the offline stays physical rather than I mean, competition or customers' dissatisfaction over not seeing as many products or items online as it is offline. So bravo. Okay, so to our viewers, if you like what you hear so far, so be sure to like our Facebook page, SME Magazine Asia, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. So a little bit of advertisement.
Always.
Now, yeah. So we have questions coming in. Do you have anything to add on as to your decision of bringing the brand to offline? Is there anything you want to add?
From who?
Yeah, from the Fashion Valet team, the dynamic duo.
I think that it's very different. We came in pretty naive because the offline game is completely different than online. When online is all about efficiency, operational excellence, but when it comes to offline, it's the personal touch, the visual merchandising. Now, dulu, like we had to just our clothes and our scarves, we can just fold them nicely.
Okay. Yeah.
But inside we have to make sure there's no creases, and then when customer try it on, there's lipstick. So all these things we never really thought of.
We've never had this problem when you sell online.
Yeah. Even marketing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the challenges are everywhere, right? Running a business, it's not as easy as a lot of people think. Just because you have set a track record of the successes that you have achieved and so forth. So it's still, hard work. It's still about planning and always wanting to come out with innovative ideas to be ahead of your competitors. Now, we have a question from Moody Munawar. How does Fashion Ballet maintain relationship with 3PL logistic providers to ensure timely delivery?
Yeah.
That's his stuff.
We've been working with a lot of third-party logistics for a long time, and I think it's really important for us to make sure that we maintain the relationship. And people like Post Laju, DDEX, DHL, RMX, these guys have been around for a long time, and we make sure that we work with everybody, right? But in the same way, we also tell all of them that where we need to work with everybody, because there are going to be times where the load is extremely high. Like Post Laju is delivering for the majority of the deliveries within Malaysia, and so when you come to a situation like Hari Raya or even 11/11, suddenly the load increases so much more, and so we need to. There was one of our kids.
Real
Looking for mommy.
Yeah, so we really need to we work with quite a number of logistics providers, if not all of them, and we make sure that if we tell them, just be very transparent with us. If you can't meet your SLAs, if you can't deliver within 1 to 2 days, tell us so that we can shift the loads over to another player. Right, so I think that's how we try to build that relationship with them. We try and be very transparent. I think we and them both agree that ultimately it's the customer experience, and the customer wants to get it very quickly, and that will make them want to shop online even more, and that would eventually and ultimately benefit all of us.
And Sam, what is your take on timely delivery and so forth?
In my line of work, I've actually interacted with a lot of third-party logistics, Post Laju, GDEX, Skynet, Ninja Van, Lex, you name it. But in my experience of working with them, I find that the driver is very important. When they come and pick up your items, I still remember many years ago when I was in the business of selling, right? There will be times whereby you have mega campaigns where you have exceptionally a lot of products, and I'm sure Vivy and Fadzar have been through that as well. Just hundreds and hundreds of parcels. So what we did in our retail, because when they come to our warehouse and pick up, right, we actually serve them food and drinks, and it's just a tiny gesture, because I mean it's just a tiny gesture, because we think that they're humans too, and these are whether most of the third-party logistics, if you're within the area, usually the same drivers will come on a daily basis. Unless anything happens, then someone will come and sub it in. So our drivers were very consistent, and they were very helpful. Number one, they were very rajin, as in like they were hardworking. Everything we prepared for them, and if there's any parcels that was not picked up within that time frame, they will say that, look, later in 2 hours later, I finish my rounds, I'll come back and pick up. You just make sure someone is in the warehouse, we will finish it for you. So those were the kind of human relationships, I think. If any of you e-commerce sellers outside there today are working with third-party logistics, remember the driver who comes and pick up from you, they are human too. So a tiny little of gesture of kindness goes a long way.
And Sam, there is a question for you from Haley Wong. How do you see traditional brick and mortar retail evolving in the future?
Okay, so my background in business came from brick and mortar as well. So I think that brick and mortar and online is not one exists and the other disappear. It doesn't work that way. I believe both work in tandem, as in they work together. Like Vivy mentioned just now, online experience, it's all about operational efficiency, how fast can you respond. Offline is about the customer experience. She has to make sure that, iron out no creases, the visual is there, right? So one day in the future, I think the customer will come to your offline store, look through your products, and maybe they think, maybe later I go home, then let me check a little bit more details about it. and they go home, they're able to access and find your web store. Then they will browse what other people talk about your product, their reviews. Okay, they'll look into other videos that you may have, the product when they wear, how do they look like. So adding all this experience, which offline cannot offer at that point of time, online will complement. The online experience, which offline cannot offer, then offline will complement. So I think both will work in tandem. So more importantly, I think offline and online needs to coexist. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to a product or a service, us as humans would like to touch and feel, and more importantly, we want to interact.
Okay, now it's interesting, right? As a couple, I mean, running a business or whatsoever. Of course, the designation and the role is very clear. Like Vivy is more into creative work, and of course, Fadzar is looking into operations and everything else. So, how do you guys come to a decision? You know, when you have ideas or when you have certain strategies that you want to implement for the business, so how do you guys come up with ideas? I mean, sorry, yeah, come up with decisions, sorry. Yeah.
We have a lot of
Debates. Healthy debates.
Okay.
Right.
No, I mean, but when we first started, we both did everything together. And I think over like after a year, that is obviously not scalable lah. And we looked at each other's strengths, and we're very much opposites. You know, I'm very outgoing, and I love creatives. He loves to me the boring stuff like the finance, the operations, and all that. So it's very clear from our personalities that we both have to hit different things, but we communicate all the time. So if there's anything that big decisions, we will definitely consult each other, and if we can't come to a conclusion, we consult our senior management team.
Okay, so there is no last call kind of decision.
We
It's
have
like
a last call. But then at home,
of course.
So yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, as a couple, you know, you spend time at work and also at home, and of course family time is very precious. But then most of the times when husband and wife, when they are involved in a business, that it usually will involve you know, the people around them, that, you know, when it comes to making decisions. So sometimes it's not very nice, you know, to see arguments.
no.
Yeah. So I mean, it's good that you have decided then when there is a difference in opinion, then you get you know, feedback from the management to give a clearer, I guess, decision making process. I have one question for Vivy and Fadzar from site NASA, site Nasimuddin. He's asking whether, with the experience that you guys have right now, what will you advise yourself, you know, back then when you were both about to start Fashion Ballet? This can also apply to entrepreneurs who are watching the video today. You know, what would be the advice?
When you first start a business, you're very excited and you just want to jump in. Like, that's from my own experience. But I would say that proper planning is very important. And I don't go as far as like 10 years. I just year by year, right? Like, so product wise, I need to start planning ahead because there have been many delays or ad hoc things that I learned over the years that I cannot be doing. So planning is very important, and I think both Fadzar and I would agree that before you start an e-commerce business, you really have to invest in tech, your tech team, your tech equipment, all these things. Because fashion ballet marketing and branding grows really fast, product as well, but tech couldn't keep up, you know, because we're both not tech people, right? So we rely completely on our tech team, and sometimes we don't understand the jargons and all the things, right? So it was difficult for us to run to run an e-commerce company without having
tech knowledge.
Yeah, I would share that as well. I mean, if there was one thing that I would say we really made a mistake on, was that we were too slow to invest more into technology. I think we were really excited about the fact that I mean, Vivi was really creative and really good at marketing. At the same time, we were delivering products out very quickly, and we kept like just producing more stuff and then putting more investment into creating more products, and we were really convinced that as long as the products will grow, then the customers will come, even if the online experience wasn't great,
But
right?
that's not
But I still think product is very important, but I think you have to look at it holistically. And the customers want to come in, they want to buy your product, but they also want to have a great experience on your website as well.
What about you, Sam?
Just relating my experience when I first started out e-commerce. I still remember back then I did a lot of research because I'm the kind of person who want to make sure and plan properly before I embark onto something. So one mistake I made was I think I spent too much time thinking and analyzing. In fact, one of the key things that I would advise entrepreneurs today is go out and ask. I think asking is not a weakness. In fact, I think asking from someone experienced or learning from an expert is actually shows strength. Means that you really want to grow the company. I think that was mistake number one that I learned. Mistake number two, having a business plan and actually executing it, it's really two different things. There's something about a business plan that you think that it will work, but when you really start to do it, it's very different. I'll share with you one example. I used to sell microwaves on Lawyat forum. Right, people type their comments and whatnot, and then they say PM, DM me, and then you say COD, means cash on delivery.
Okay.
So I thought Lawyat forum back then had a lot of traffic, and I thought I really wanted to sell microwaves there. So I did, and I finally landed into one order. I still remember that day. I was in front of Lawyat Plaza, right downstairs, holding that microwave and waiting for the person to appear.
Okay.
And that person potentially could have just walked in front of me. This boy, maybe don't.
Yeah.
I don't even know who it is, right? We're talking about 9 years ago. So at that point of time, I just realized that online couldn't provide that sort of experience because I cannot verify who my buyer is. All I have is their number, that's it. They can choose to answer your phone and they don't choose to answer your phone. So I think today, e-commerce 9 years later today, 2020, have advanced so much. You have live stream, you have so many different tools that are for free and you can use it. The only question is, when are you going to use it?
All right. We're taking one question from Lynn Wong. Her question, I'm addressing this question to both Fashion Valley and also Beyond Infinity. Now, with local brands evolving to smart shopping like in China, integration with AI enable features. Now, what is your take on that? Will local brands evolve to smart shopping? I mean, we are talking about accelerating the e-commerce, business. What's your take on that?
Yeah.
Is this the part where we look at Fashion Valley first?
Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, so I think technology, the evolution of technology it's only a matter of time before the adoption comes into Malaysia, right? And I think even on Fashion Valley, we're already implementing a lot of really interesting AI features on our website. So when you go onto our website, you can already click on a picture of a product, and it will automatically do a visual search for you of other similar products. So suddenly, if you're interested in one look, there are like 10 other looks that are similar to it that you can also shop for. I think for us, we've always been interested in what kind of technology can really elevate the customer experience. And more often than not, we actually find that the technology that's been coming out recently has been a bit gimmicky. Like, we don't feel like it can really last very long. Things like AR, the way you try on clothes, we don't feel like that's something that's going to solve the problem of sizing when you buy online in the next 5 years. So I think there's still a lot of development left to go in terms of AI for how it adapts into the actual shopping experience for e-commerce. And but I do think that it's only a matter of time before technology catches up. And I mean, the fact that we just went through this whole COVID situation, it's accelerated a lot of the customers starting to shop online. And I think we'll only see more and more of those technologies being experimented by other retailers.
What about you, Sam?
Thank you, Fashion Valley. Okay, I think when you talk about AI, just last year when I visited Alibaba, they showed us their AI technology, and I think it's fascinating. But bringing that experience back to Malaysia, I think I realized that Malaysia has a lot much more to offer. We have a lot of local brands. We have a lot of handicraft people who knows how to make really good handicraft, batik, you name it. Just last year, I was working with a client that deals with the B40 group, and they actually handmade a lot of products such as bags, recyclable bags, and also gifts. So when they started into the e-commerce journey, the first question they asked me is, can this work? And I told them, look, let's not look too far beyond, right? If you're looking into technology and all that, that will come later on. But first, put your business online. Let's be practical. There are a lot of technology around, but whether every business has accessibility or able to use it, that's a very different ballgame. And in Malaysia, we have more than 90% who are SMEs, right? Maybe small groups, don't really have the resources. So what we can do right now is, I think, first start with e-commerce. And a lot of all these e-commerce platforms available out there, they actually do provide some form of technology. Number one, they definitely provide you with a chat service whereby you can online chat and interact with your customers. Number two, you can use live stream technology, right? Even Facebook also allows that. You can immediately live stream and interact with your customers. Number three, I think more importantly is look into data, right? SMEs today in Malaysia can learn to look a little bit of data. How many customers come to your store today? What are the interactions like? How many sales being converted? Discuss with your team and understand, why got so many customers come into my store, but they decided not to buy? Is it because my product, I didn't showcase off enough of its features? Maybe I need to say that this is actually handmade in Malaysia. It's made of 100% quality batik. Do I need to emphasize more on these features to help buyers to make better decisions? So I think these are the questions to start off with.
Okay, do you think there is any impact, on e-commerce during this COVID-19 crisis?
Maybe
Your turn, Sam.
Okay. I knew that was coming. So returning the favor now. In e-commerce, just based on statistics alone, for the past 3 months since March until May, we actually see some spikes. Some spikes meaning certain products went up. And I think number one is you see hand sanitizers and FMCG products in terms of cleaning went up.
Okay.
Whether it impacted offline, there cannot be a real measure. But let me share with you one example. A client of ours is actually an offline distributor for sports equipment. And during COVID-19, they have impacted all their offline distribution channels. So online helped them to get some revenue so then they can pay off their staff. So in terms of COVID-19, whether it have impacted offline, I think yes. And the answer to that is, it also tells you why it's so important to have an online presence. So when one is not working, the other can help you. And if both working, then that's two good things for you. Back to you, Fashion Valley.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. I think generally e-commerce has seen a rise, but I would say it's not across the board, right? We've seen many categories such as essential goods, home supplies increase, but sometimes there's also been a lot of losers. And unfortunately, fashion is one of those biggest losers, right? I think according to Google, fashion is the biggest dropper in terms of e-commerce spend or any retail spend, only second after travel. right? And so we have seen, it has been a bit of a struggle for Fashion Valley over the last 3 months. But now, because if you want to buy new clothes also, where are you going to, right? We're mostly in our pajamas sitting at home, at most we wear a nice shirt because we have to be on the video call. So there's really no need for people to have that discretionary spending on new clothes. But we are seeing pick up now that, thankfully Malaysia is one of the better ones to recover from this COVID pandemic. And so we are seeing more and more new customers coming in to our website this month. I assume it's because they now have experienced online shopping on other sites, buying their groceries online. They feel a little bit more confident shopping on other sites. So I do think that there is going to be a sharper rise in e-commerce, over the next few months.
Yeah, I echo what Sam said as well. Like, of course, the offline retail is hurt badly. That we weren't allowed to open stores, right? So there is definitely a huge sudden shift to e-commerce. All brick and mortar stores are now thinking of going digital if they haven't yet. So over the next few months, I would think that there will be huge competition online, and it will be a very crowded space. And only the so you after you see a whole cycle of drop offs, and because it's getting a bit crowded.
Maybe I can add on a little bit on this as well. So during MCO, we have also witnessed that a lot of people stay at home. And by stay at home means those who have family, you get to spend more time with family. I'm sure Fadzar and Vivy has your fair share. However, being MCO homebound, a lot of people have adopted new habits. Number one, by spending more time with their kids, they may have realized that we run out of activities, run out of family activities. So for the aspiring entrepreneurs outside, if you want to start your e-commerce business, don't just look at what is the most trendiest product right now. Don't just look at, what makes the most money. Look into, what is your core business and what services can you help your customers? Because in the next few months, people will start to go back to their in their new normal lives, I would say. So parents, they will look into maybe some new toys or other new textbooks they want to buy for their kids. For young adults between the age of 25 to 35, they adopted a new workout regime in front of Zoom. So maybe they want to look into health equipment. So these are things where you look into a very logical of a consumer. They will slowly come back. In fact, I was just going out in terms. I live within the TTDI area, and I also start seeing that actually people do visit back, their offline stores just to purchase things that they want for their family or things they have been deciding that they want. So I think it's a slow recovery, but if you have online, it will help you to accelerate your sales faster. That's my opinion.
Okay, there are a lot of questions coming in for Vivy.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, that shows how famous you are, because more often than not, all this online applies to celebrity using their name, in terms of branding or whatever. But I think as far as Vivy is concerned, you started the business and then you became famous and people associate you to the brand. It's quite unusual in that sense, because branding is very important for you to push, whatever products or whatever services that you have. And you guys have really done a good job. And, I'm really, really very proud, at this age. Yeah, both of you, Sam, as well, already making a difference. Really, really very proud. Can I take one question from Patricia Ratana Suwan? Okay, hi Vivy and Fadzar. If we are just very new in starting e-commerce for our products, what would be the strategy to get people to know our brand more and would go to our site and purchase the items other than the usual integrated marketing in social media, blog, etc.?
Okay. I'll take that first. For me, I really believe in the power of collaborations, especially if you're just starting out. Acknowledge that you are the smaller player, so it would be really beneficial for you to join platforms, like either Fashion Ballet or Shopee or Zalora, Lazada. I think giving that would just get you on the bandwagon and get recognized. But of course, that's not enough. You would have to obviously apportion marketing budget to your branding, your own digital ads, your own Instagram account. I really do believe in making products that are limited edition, one of a kind. Your product itself has to be unique, right? And everything else will be easier. I think for me, we're very much a social media brand. So a lot of engagement on social media, a lot of collaborations with influencers there work very well for us. So no matter what product you make, I don't know what Patricia makes, but I'm sure you can find a way how to collaborate with these icons to tap into their database, to tap into their market. And all it takes is literally a DM to them, right? You can DM 10 people, one will probably reply. So definitely it's a lot easier to accelerate your brand now.
Okay, interesting. Because like I say, sometimes you just need to open your eyes and see what other people are doing, and not to be shy to ask, like what you say. But again, collaboration also depends as to whether your brand is established enough, or even your company is established enough. So this may be an obstacle or challenge to a lot of businesses, I mean, in my opinion. I actually wanted to ask a question related to your fundraising, Faza and Vivy. The COVID-19, the support fund, the Simply Giving. You've raised about 1.1 million ringgit so far, and this is through crowdfunding. So how does this work? How does this work? This particular Simply Giving.
Yeah, so we actually partnered with two parties for this, right? So when the COVID-19 pandemic broke out in Malaysia, there was a lot of requests from frontliners to help raise funds for them to get more equipment, because the hospitals were feeling overwhelmed. Even things like aircon fans, or like PPE. So we realized that using our platform, and because fashion was also down at that time, so we really wanted to do something out of our way to help the community. So we partnered with Simply Giving, which is a crowdfunding platform for social giving. Also, Kita Fund was also another platform we partnered with, and we also partnered with Imarit, which is
an NGO. So they are an NGO that gives relief to a lot of projects in the world, actually. So in this Imarit team, there's a lot of doctors. So it came like this. So basically, we personally donated. Sorry, is our audio? Is it us?
Sorry, there's some echo in the audio, I think.
Oh, it is okay.
Okay.
Okay. So it started off by me seeing on Instagram a post that someone is donating to the hospital, and I was very interested because I wanted to see how we both personally could help. And so we helped. We gave some aircon, we gave a laptop and things like that. But after that, I felt like it wasn't enough. And here I have like a platform of followers, and why am I not using it for the right reason, right? So we created that, but then I faced a challenge where I'm like, okay, so I can probably ask people for all this money.
Okay.
How do I distribute to all these hospitals? Because there's no one single organization that handles all the hospitals, right? So I worked with an NGO, Imaret. This is actually my doctor, Dr. Musa.
Our kids
doctor. So then we contacted him and we asked him, and he said, why don't you work with Imaret? And it's it's wonderful because they have the network with hospitals. So all we did was raise funds, and I really have to thank social media and like netizens for this, because everyone like they were giving like whatever they could, 5 ringgit, 2 ringgit, 100 ringgit. It was beautiful, and the messages I got were like, I don't have enough money for like my salary got cut, but I really still want to help, or like I don't have enough money for this, but I still want to donate. It's just amazing to see like Malaysians support during times where we need everyone the most. And we actually raised 1.4 million in a month.
Yeah, in 1 month.
In a month, 1.4 million. And after that, we took in another project because the hospitals needed PPE suits. So we worked with Moda, which is the fashion organization in Malaysia, and also Imarat. And we raised 300,000. So I mean, it's amazing. It's something I'll never forget.
So is there an expiry date for this particular fund? Because we talk about COVID-19, so we are in recovery stage. So will this stop at some time? The raising of the fund?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both funds have already, right? So both funds actually, if I'm not mistaken, sometime last month.
Okay. Well done.
Thank you.
Sam. Sam?
Yes.
Can hear. Because
Can hear loud and clear.
Tonight the reception is not very good. I mean, there are a lot of viewers out there, started doing business on e-commerce or whatsoever during the MCO. Now, where can they learn the ropes of e-commerce? I mean, is there, somewhere, I mean, other than Google, they Google and then they just read themselves, whatsoever. So where can they learn? I mean, learning from case studies and stuff like that, I think is a lot more practical than just reading from textbook. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the beautiful thing about internet is you can pretty much search a lot of things online. But like you said, during COVID-19, government agencies and like MDEC, they have actually launched on their website to help SMEs businesses to go on board online. Either they want to learn or either they want to engage service providers. They can find all the information over there. Like ourselves in our company, we are also looking at an economical way to help SME businesses to go online or either learn how to actually go on board into e-commerce. So I would recommend, speaking to experts, people who have done it before, or either go to a training classes. So if you are interested, then you may always give us a call.
Okay. Now, where do you see the e-commerce ecosystem going, in five years down the road? Where do you see it going?
Is that to me or to Fashion Valley?
Yeah, actually, I wanted both of you to answer, Where do you see the e-commerce ecosystem going,
Maybe I'll take this one first.
Yeah.
Okay, I think 5 years down the road, there will be more SMEs who are actually much more familiar with e-commerce, which means that we will start seeing more people having an online platform, but also the way of engagement is very different. So whatever strategies or marketing strategies that they see today, 5 years later will be much more advanced because more people have used it. Everyone wants to be different and everyone wants to be unique. But here I am to remind all our viewers here tonight. Even if you embark into e-commerce, I think first thing is important to have the right mindset. Understand that e-commerce is about you bridging a gap between your business and your consumers. You are actually offering an opportunity for consumers to buy your products. Secondly, know your products and also being the master of your business. Please take into consideration of consumer spending power, especially during this COVID-19 period. You can identify your audience, you can look into your product and find what would be the best way to cater to them. So say, for example, if you used to sell kimchi, like 1 kg jar of kimchi. Maybe online, you may want to consider, making into small bottles, 250 grams. So then people it doesn't hurt their pocket too much to try your kimchi. And secondly, it's easy for people to spend. So I will see that more and more businesses in the next 5 years will learn to adopt all these strategies coming along. Back to you, Fashion Valley.
Yeah, what about you guys? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, for us, the way that we see e-commerce or even retail for that matter, it's a way of you connecting with your customers, right? It's a way for the customers to buy something. So when we think about our business, one thing we always think about is, what is going to be consistent today, in 5 years or in 10 years. And the fact is, I think people, will always buy clothes, and they will always be selective over where they buy their clothes from. So I think if you have really good products which are stand out amongst the competitors, you have good branding, the brand values that you stand for resonate really well with with your customers. You want to make sure that you are always up to date with the latest way consumers are now purchasing. 10 years ago when we started, most of the retail was done offline, and then you have to email your receipts, and banking at ATM. Today you are going on your laptop or your mobile phone to buy.
Yeah.
Maybe in 2 years time you might just be live streaming and then call in for an order automatically, and they already have your data and they just ship it to you. So I think it's really important for entrepreneurs to stay up to date with the technology that allows businesses to connect with retailers. And so, for any business, really you want to build your brand and your product, and the way you connect with your customers is always competitive with everyone else. Today, the table stakes are just, we buy online and we want fast delivery, right? Maybe in 5 years time it might be I want to be able to just call into my phone and then I automatically get the delivery to my door within the next hour, right? And businesses have to stay up to date with that kind of retail.
But to add to that, for me, I think for a brand to really be strong, you really need to have both online and offline. I don't believe that. Rosita, sorry, I think it's your mic. The audio is because I hear myself again.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry.
Yeah, okay. So I feel like there is for a brand to really succeed, you can't be an exclusively online brand or exclusively offline brand. If anything, COVID has taught us that, right? So yes, I see all this future for tech and all the enhancements and all the changes in people's behavior of shopping, but I think there will be nothing in the long run that will change our behavior, especially Malaysians going to malls. That is what we do, because overseas, like, they probably go to museums or they probably go to the high street shops, but in Malaysia the culture is very much going to malls on weekends with your family, makan and all that. So I still very much believe in offline retail post-COVID. Not now.
Is there anything else, Sam, you want to add? Because I think we are almost, done with the session. Is there anything else you want to add, Sam?
I think to all our viewers here today, when you embark your e-commerce, and I'm sure you all will, looking at successful examples, two things that I hope that you all will consider. Number one, always research about your audience. Who are your customers? Because they will be ever evolving. They will change. Their habits may shift a little bit. So you need to be very sensible to those changes and adapt your e-commerce towards it. And lastly, I think it's always add value. So even when you go on board into e-commerce, never forget that if your product is so good and it has all its unique selling point, your branding, your image, the feel, the features, remember to always shout it up. And when you launch your e-commerce, remember to share it online.
Okay. Before we hear Vivy and Fadzar's last word, now, if you think that our guest tonight did a great job, please give a 10 to show your appreciation. And of course, give them a big virtual round of applause. Vivi and Faza, do you have any advice? Because I think a lot of people are looking at Fashion Ballet, as a benchmark. Is there any thing you would like to share with our viewers?
I think for me, it's all about the product and all about the brand. So coming from a creative perspective, branding and marketing is just so important. You need to really create a product that is different from the rest. You need to have an X factor. So when I speak to younger entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs, and I'm very honest with my feedback, I tell them, like, there's 10 other brands that have this, so what is gonna set you apart from the rest? So I think you really have to think about that. Don't just be a follower of whatever's trending. Try to find things to innovate and constantly come up with a different product that will catch people's eyes.
Faza, anything you want to say?
Yeah, I totally agree with Vivi, with what she said with regards to product and marketing. I guess a lot of the viewers are, SME owners. And all I want to say is, kudos to everybody who started a business. I think it's a very brave thing to do, especially now in the COVID situation. It's definitely a very challenging environment for all of us to be in. And, I think we've been in this business for 10 years. We're not hugely experienced. But one thing we've realized is that, every time if you fall into a ditch, the only person holding you back from coming out of it and moving forward is yourself, right? So I think as entrepreneurs, I think the biggest thing we realized over the last few years is self-growth and self-learning is one of the most important things. And don't let mistakes pull you down, because your life is still long, and you want to live a happy life. And as long as you're doing things for the right reasons and you have good intentions, I would say just aim for the best. And if you can market your products to your local community and help them, that will be great. If you can bring your products to a global audience, I think that would be great, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's all about the impact you make with your intention.
Okay, it's been such a wonderful session. Thank you again, Sam and Vivi and Faza. Thank you so much for spending your Friday evening with us. I hope we will meet or cross paths again. Hopefully, physically, maybe have coffee and so forth. So thank you once again, and good luck in whatever endeavor you are coming up in the near future. Sam, thank you. So good night. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you. Bye.
Good night.